money isn't the only thing that a gig is costing you. So it actually forced me to redefine what I was calling success for myself within my musical lane. My first thought, naturally, we need to get paid more.
Oh, hey, yeah. Welcome to the Musician's Blueprint. We are helping you, every musician, where they are and what they are building. It's exciting. And I'm LT, Lawrence Tibbetts, and this is 2J.
2J.
Hope you saw the last episode. Well, actually, our first episode. And we put a lot of discussion into just the three lanes. And you're, as a musician, you are at one of those three lanes. And that is the hobbyist, the weekend warrior, or a full-time musician. Hey, every episode starts with a question, and the overall question this week is, what are you building with your music and why? Woo! Well, as a promoter, I'm thinking, you're building a successful Friday or Saturday night. Gosh, Fridays can still be a challenge in terms of an audience, but what you're trying to build with your bandmates, going out and having a great time and showing off your skills as a musician, and you've picked a great set list. That sounds like quite a Friday or Saturday night. I like it. What would you say to that, 2J?
What I'm trying to build with my music is a sustainable, creative career and lifestyle. I want to keep growing as a musician and build relationships with other artists, but I also want a life that is financially sustainable. For me, success isn't just being able to make music, it's building a life that allows me to keep making music. I think it's important that you know what you're building, because once you know what you're building, all of your decisions have to support that. So what are you building with your music and why? For me, for a long time, I didn't consciously ask myself what I was building with my music. I made decisions that were largely based on, is this fun, or how much money I was making. Then my work life, the balance between the two started to become unmanageable. I was playing in bands that I really and genuinely enjoyed playing in. We were doing killer shows, making great music, and I was having really, really fun experiences. But the weekly rehearsals plus individual practice, travel to and from rehearsal, and the gigs were starting to take significant time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I was even making less than $100 per gig for these 3-hour shows, which is it's quite a long time to be performing. This is often after like a full day of work and rehearsals that are already draining me. And so now I'm showing up irritable. I'm not able to be fully present with what's going on. So my music and the creativity wasn't necessarily the problem. It was the way that music was fitting into my life that was becoming the problem. My first thought, naturally, we need to get paid more.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's every musician's solution to when you're feeling drained by the music that you're doing. It's like, I need more money. But it felt like the energy was only kind of primarily flowing in one direction. My time and my preparation was going into the music and the travel and the energy, but it is important that these things still give a level of reciprocity out and not just the money, because the money does help provide to get me more resources. But that time that I spend away from loved ones, that time that I spend not working on other parts of my life or being present, that still comes at a cost. So having that thought that I was like, man, we need to get paid more. Better compensation would certainly help, but that's not the complete answer. A gig might pay $500, but what does it actually require me for be able to take that gig? How much rehearsal time are we talking? Am I having to travel to this rehearsal? Am I having to learn a new skill that I didn't already have to take on this gig? Also, who are the people that are sacrificing time with you? Your family, your kids, your friends, the people that you love and care about. I have grandparents that they're a little elderly in age, and so I like to still be able to have time to go and visit them and to be able to help them with their needs when I'm able to. Money isn't the only thing that a gig is costing you. It's also your physical and your emotional energy. It's also the amount of time that it's going to take you to recover and rest from these gigs. So every music opportunity has a cost beyond the dollars, and make sure you're looking at those.
Yeah, it makes me think of in the promotion world, one of the most responded to posts that I've done through the years, 15 years, but and that is, okay, you got paid at a gig, $500, $700, whatever it is, but then to start to list the true cost from the musician side in terms of time and so forth, and it gets enormous. I mean, it's like 15 things strong, and I think it's 15 strong, and then a musician, hey, you forgot this, you forgot this, or that rehearsal time, or that load in, load out. I don't forget those,
Yeah.
but again, it is quite a list, and it is a lot of education just in it as a fan of music, and also musicians taking off and saying, yeah, there's a high cost, and you've got to manage all that, and you understand the whys.
So it actually forced me to redefine what I was calling success for myself within my musical lane. My old equation was kind of just, is it fun? Am I making money? You know, and I mean, and that was definitely me in that weekend warrior lane, probably balancing between that hobbyist weekend warrior lane. But neither one was enough by itself. Having fun wasn't enough by itself. Making money wasn't enough by itself. I had to ask, what kind of life am I actually trying to build? And I want to grow creatively. I want to make money and still have enough energy to live my full life. So for me, success isn't just getting to make the music, it's creating a life that allows me to continue making music and to still have a sustainable life outside of that music. So this changed how I valued my opportunities. I evaluate every gig that I get. I evaluate every opportunity, because opportunities aren't just gigs. There are many things that can help you level up your career or to take you to the next level in your music and creativity. So now I'm paying attention to not just how much does it pay, but what's my time commitment going to look like? How far am I traveling to the rehearsals? Far am I traveling to the gig? And so whatever time or distance it is, it's times two, because you got to go there and you got to come back home. Then I'm looking at, does this fulfill me creatively? In some situations, I get a lot of creative input on how the show is going to go, what
Right.
songs we're playing. There are other gigs and opportunities that I get where I get absolutely no creative input. I'm just meant to be there and play my part, play the song, and get out. Both of them have important roles, and I have to know which one is being fulfilled at the right time. Some opportunities will fulfill me creatively, and some will not do as much. And then, most importantly, especially if we're trying to move forward, does this opportunity create future opportunities for me?
Right, right.
You know, this playing with friends can actually feed me creatively and relationally. I have a great place. I love getting with my buddies and playing music and being on stage with them. But it's also, I have to invest more than just emotionally. Some of those gigs, I'm a hired gun, if you want to think of it that way. The situation where I'm not as emotionally invested in the people that I'm playing with or the audience, but I'm coming here to be a professional and to do the job and to get in and get out in a timely manner. And then there are other times where this is a jam session, or we're out here doing this music for the love of the music. We're out here. I care less about how much we're getting paid, or if we end up playing 30 minutes past our time, because I'm on stage and having a great time. But no gig has to win in every category. It's just knowing which gigs are fulfilling that category for you. Is this one that's fulfilling me creatively? Is this one that's about pay? And knowing which one that you are sensing and with what you're building. And as we said before, once you know what you're building, then you can decide which opportunities are best for you, because all of your choices should support what you're building. Tell us what you're building with your music. Write us a message in the comments. It's hard to determine whether an opportunity is right for you until you know what you're trying to build. Someone else can have the exact same opportunity and make the opposite decision, and both decisions can be right. Your definition of success determines what deserves your yes. That's where I think the different lanes in musicians become important, whether you're in that hobbyist lane, that weekend warrior, or that full-time musician, because we're not all trying to build the same thing. So we've been talking about musicians fitting into these three lanes. We've been talking about the hobbyist, the weekend warrior, and that full-time musician. These are all three valid definitions of success, but they're not all building the same thing. This is not a ladder where everybody's trying to climb to the top and be that full-time musician. This is more about defining your why, determining what success looks like for you. So being a hobbyist doesn't necessarily mean being aimless. You may be trying to make your living from music, but you can still be building something meaningful. When it comes to the hobbyist, what do you think has been a definition of success for those musicians?
I think it's waking up on a Monday and being exhausted, probably, and needing a nap, needing a long nap and a good night's rest on Monday. And I really think for the significant others, families with a musician, I mean, gosh, I can imagine they walk into a Monday pretty tired. But some of them, I hope a Sunday afternoon has been better for them after a great gigs Friday, Saturday, maybe even Sunday too. But I think the success is waking up on a Monday after a great fun weekend. They've built community. They've bandmates, friends. They've enjoyed their favorite beverage. As the hobbyist, I think that defines them, and some of that's for the weekend warrior too.
So as we mentioned before, being a hobbyist doesn't necessarily mean that you're aimless. Success might mean that you're building a community. Maybe you think and act in a certain way and you're looking for people who think and act like you. Maybe you're growing your catalog. You're still discovering what your sound is and you want to get more songs out there. You're doing cover songs, creating some of your own. The hobbyist could also be somebody who's in the ministry. You know,
Yes.
you're out here developing people spiritually. You're trying to create a congregation with your music. This isn't necessarily all in one lane. Some people might just be creating legacy. You're come from a family of musicians. Your family has always had a band. You sing with your siblings. You've had a band with your siblings and cousins and things, and you just want to continue that legacy or start your own legacy of having a house band. I mean, the next Jackson 5 is somewhere out there, right?
Exactly. Well, how about on the spectrum, moving along, hobbyist at one end and full-time musician at the other? Full-time musician, a bit more involved and complicated, but what's the difference between the weekend warrior and the full-time musician in defining success?
Yeah, Weekend Warrior is certainly trying to create their opportunities, and they're trying to create an opportunity that creates another opportunity. With those, that might be you're trying to build that income, you're trying to make money off of your music, you're trying to create partnership relationships, a network, or a reputation so that you can get hired for those gigs. The Weekend Warrior is still trying to build that momentum so that there is continuity, that you are able to not only create more opportunities, but have sustainability in knowing, oh, okay, these next couple of months, we can expect to be on the road, 5 to 6 times a month, or the next month, we're already looking at 3 gigs. I think that Weekend Warrior has a little bit of a forward motion or forward ahead thinking about how am I continuing this momentum, where that full-time musician is, they've already have that momentum going. They're actually looking probably at their year quarterly. The next 90 days, I already know I'm going to be on the road, 5, 6 times a month. I already have those gigs lined up and those opportunities booked. And so now I'm trying to keep that momentum going full time as that musician. So as the full-time musician, I want that durable momentum. I want something that's going to withstand a slow season or two in case there's a month that I'm not able to get booked.
So even for the full-time musician, I'm thinking about the calendar. Their calendar is different, and they got to approach their calendar different because full-time musicians sustaining themselves, maybe a family. Again, that weekend warrior is attacking Friday and Saturdays or Sundays. Okay, 3 out of the 7. That full-time musician now has a focus of the entire week. Now, does great music happen on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Will you search it?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And we've got even bars and venues that are doing great things. I'm going to have one of the spotlights, one of these episodes, it might be today, one of the spotlights and talk about some bars. I think it's open every day but Christmas, and they have music, solo, duo, band every day of the year, basically.
And in conclusion with this segment, or this tidbit, the question isn't whether you're a hobbyist, a weekend warrior, or a full-time musician. The question is, does the way you're currently using your time, your money, and relationships actually support the lane that you have chosen?
But that is, again, having a major goal. And how do you reach that major goal? It's a lot of small goals to get you to the right path to your success.
Yes.
Again, last month, it was talking about how do you eat an elephant, one small bite at a time. But goals is even a better perspective. How do you reach a major goal or a big goal? You've got to outline it. You need to write it down on paper. But a big goal is reached by many small goals, and reaching those first, and you reach enough of them, you're there. But again, you got to have focus to have that level of success.
So take your time, think about what it is that your why and what are you building with your music. Leave us a comment down below. We'd love to have a conversation with you about what you're building. So we've been talking about knowing your why and what you're building. If you know what you're building, then your choices can support that. Where can people find us, LT?
ncbandsandclubs.com. Go there, and then by where you live and your geography from, a lot of people are there for the list. What's happening this week? And we can help you determine those choices and make great decisions around local music. So ncbandsandclubs.com. Hey, if you're out there, we're looking for more volunteers across North Carolina. So you can start at the website. I can shout out that email again. It's pretty memorable. That is ncbandsandclubs@gmail.com. Thank you, Gmail. But looking for volunteers, pictures, videos. You're having a great time. You can share them to our social media and help us in our vision of promoting and pushing local music across North Carolina. And where can they find you, 2J?
If you are wanting to discuss more about what you're building and why, book a discovery call with me. www.jordancjones.com, or send me a message on Instagram. That's The Musician's Architect on Instagram or on TikTok. I look forward to hearing from you. Rehearsal gets you ready, right? That gets you ready for the performance, but promotion gets you seen. Let's talk about how musicians can bridge that gap.
Yeah, a little tidbit, right?
Yeah.
Little tidbit, Promo 101. These are important segments, we think, of our episodes, trying to feed off the main topic, but also just going there, whether it's a roadblock or whether it's Promo 101. And what I've chosen to mention, or in terms of your why, and but long range of the musician journey, is just trying to, from the beginning, to be consistent in your promotion. It's one thing to not be doing it, and that's where a lot of musicians last. They're not doing a lot in the promotion field. But it's another thing to be doing it, but be doing it every 6 months. So it's just trying to be consistent with your promotion messaging from the beginning. And that's from the use of your band logo to weekly posting, the time of the posting. It's important that you don't just leave it up in the air that maybe we're all doing it. You need to really assign a musician, or again, go outside the band. Well, you could pay somebody, but I'd rather not think about it as the only route. But a spouse, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, or someone who has the time, or someone that spends a lot of time on social media or websites, even development or whatever, but just they love it. I'd build bridges there and just use that and try to be consistent. This is a big major part of my conversation with so many, just to be wanting to go out this Friday or Saturday night. You know the band's name, maybe you know them or not, but you go to their page or their presence on social media, and there's something there, but it's 6 months ago, or it's 3 weeks ago, or this gig that you're planning to go to is not even mentioned. And that's a fault at the, from the hobbyist to the weekend warrior, and also to the, full-time musician that's just trying to master it all. And again, where do you fail? You fail when you're probably trying to master it all. We're going to be talking about soon in one of the episodes, your team, right? Your tools. That's so appropriate. But it's a basic lesson. The promotion, it's got to happen. And it's just trying to be consistent with it throughout your planning, and as you have band member meetings and so forth. It's got to be a focus, and it's got to be assigned.
Absolutely. Yeah. Teamwork. If you've got multiple people working with you, which is actually probably going to be talking about in the next episode coming up soon, but being consistent can really be a thing that's manageable when multiple people are contributing to your success, right?
Yes, yes, and I just thought about one other thing that I thought about. That is, if you're delegating, or maybe it is that girlfriend, boyfriend, or significant other, they certainly have to understand your mission and your
Mm,
purpose, what your goals are. It is just promotion maybe of what's coming up and so forth, but again, they've got to understand your band and your purpose and your mojo, right? They got to get into your
mhm.
mojo feeling and maybe how you approach your
Yeah,
promotion and so forth. That could be a little different. That's important that they understand the mission.
absolutely. Understanding the mission. It's just like knowing your why, what you're building, and making sure that your decisions are supporting what you're building. Now, if people know what they're building and why they're building it, why do so many musicians still struggle to make progress? What are the roadblocks you're seeing on the road, LT?
The roadblock sometime of adequate, good rehearsal space. It could be a roadblock in itself. And you can, gosh, if you haven't thought about it, you can envision this. But where are we going to rehearse? Where is it comfortable? Where is space available? And gosh, be creative, be intentional, figure it out. But you've got bonus rooms and homes. You've got garages. Gosh, you're gonna put.
Storage units.
Yep, you'll put out a little budget, a storage unit, but gosh, a lot of bands are forming and practicing in storage units. Studio room that might be available. Mother-in-law's garage, maybe. Ouch, ouch. But yeah, there are a number of choices to be creative and so forth. But it's got to be intentional and. Again, you'll get in some space, and that space might not work out. Does that that
Hmm.
space might not work out? Some bands don't make it beyond the rehearsal space. Okay, they haven't mastered it, mastered the schedule, or to being intentional about finding a good space. And a lot of bands don't come out of the garage. They never come out of the garage. That garage
Hmm.
might be a party scene or whatever, or it just might not work out. But yeah, there's a roadblock and very simple, and sometimes at the beginning, rehearsal space.
What are some of the suggestions that you would have for someone who's trying to find a place to rehearse?
Well, I think you got to be creative. I think there's lots of options, and if one space is not the best space for you, you move along. You make that decision as a band or musician, and you move along. You don't be in the wrong space too long because that might be just the factor of that you never get out of the rehearsal space or you never get out of the garage. But I think we're doing a lot just as reminding and to be intentional, to be creative. It's a bonus room, it's the garage, it's the storage unit. You've got to have a budget probably for a storage unit, but that money usually is available. But again, how hot is it? Is it cooled and so forth? But again, our awareness is there's a few choices. A studio room, a studio that you rent for a couple of hours for rehearsal, or it's a business in it's a rehearsal space. I mean, those are available. Not only studios, but just rehearsal spaces
Hmm.
in some of the markets across North Carolina. If you're in the mother-in-law's garage and she has plenty of space and you get along, great. But I can imagine in some scenarios, whatever, we understand the family dynamics, so to
Hmm.
be funny or not. But so that might not be working out, or maybe it is. Maybe it is. But again, it's being creative. It's thinking about a lot, noise levels and so forth. I don't want it to stop you, and there's a lot of bands that never make it out of the garage. And it might be about the space or the garage didn't work out. But I think you've got to be creative in your thinking. Think wide rather than small. Oh, we got to be in a storage unit. We got to come up with $80 a month. That's not the answer. That's not the only answer. And we're just trying to get you to expand your thinking,
Hmm.
but be serious about it and be intentional.
Yeah, these are great solutions that LT is providing here, especially with needing a rehearsal space. There's studios. So it doesn't matter if you're in that hobbyist lane, that weekend warrior lane, that full-time musician lane. This is going to be a potential roadblock for everybody.
Yeah.
All right. So it doesn't matter what lane you're in. You want to be able to think creatively. Creatively. I'm struggling with that word today. You want to be creative. Think creatively and finding solutions to finding that rehearsal space. LT, man, you've been traveling across the state checking out the live music scene for over 15 years now, man. Tell us, LT, tell us, what are some of the hot spots in North Carolina we should be checking out?
Yes, and I'm still learning about, our database on ncbandsandclubs.com. I think we were reviewing, but I think there's 4,000 bars, venues across our great state. And just imagine, we haven't, I don't know if that's 50% of them, but those that are offering music, those that are out, so many choices. So I'm traveling more, need to travel more. Gas prices need to go down.
Yeah,
But
please.
hey, please. And but here's a taste of some of the places, and most of these I would have been to or I've enjoyed once. But you can gain a lot of insight on social media about great places to be from an exciting video or a post or their pages or website and so forth. But we'll start in the Triad and work east. In the Triad, I think about 113 Brew House and Rooftop Bar in Greensboro, right where we are, HOTC. But gosh, it has two levels, a suite wraparound top balcony. There's also a rooftop bar. I don't know if I've made it that far. Maybe it was in the winter, but enjoy, get on their social media, search them out. It's very informative. They have tons of space. And whether you're on the balcony enjoying music below or whatever, it's unique and yeah, sweet inventory and big chunk of money and space. So that's exciting. 113 Brew House and Rooftop Bar in Greensboro. Moving to the Triangle, I chose a neighborhood spot that we so enjoy, and that is pretty much on the Apex Holly Springs line. It's a neighborhood feeling kind of place. I like it. It's Shaky Rays, and it's that neighborhood bar restaurant that sometimes is hard to find, but once you find them, and generally, yes, they could know your name when you walk in the next time. Of course, they get big flavoring people driving to them, whether it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes. But gosh, these places oftentimes for our venues, you draw a circle around them, and they're serving. It's a lot of truth, and you serve about 7 miles away from your destination as your main core. But Shaky Rays, look them up on social media, website, and so forth. Lots of music opportunity. We moved some tables to dance. It's not the biggest place, but we moved some tables to even have a better time. But yes. And then I'm going to start with a big boy, end with a big boy, our coastal region, Eastern North Carolina, ENC, abbreviated ENC. But let's start in Morehead City with Jack's Waterfront Bar and Restaurant, 3 levels, with a restaurant on the top levels, a rooftop bar once again, and you're right on the water in Morehead City, and you've even got a balcony at the bottom that goes right out to the boardwalk that they have in the back of the restaurant, that constant breeze. But music, this is a party place, I'm getting older, but I still enjoy it. But packing them in on the weekends and during the week for different occasions in the tourist season of Morehead City, Atlantic Beach, Beaufort, that area. But you've got to go there. You've got to experience it. Again, packed or whatever, ending up at 600 people or such, might not be exact. But Jack's Waterfront Bar is a great place, and it's pulling in talent from the Triangle or wherever they can find talent. A great talent across North Carolina, but bands are being hired and they're traveling. And again, they have some nicer budgets by their space, and they're needing a lot of people. But we've had a lot of fun, so I encourage you. Jack's Waterfront Bar. That's some spotlights of the hot scene across North Carolina this week in this episode.
Shout out to our sponsor, HOTC, Heart of the City Studios. As we were talking about rehearsal space earlier in our episode, they do have rehearsal space for rent, as well as they do recording sessions, whether you are a single mic vocalist or instrumentalist, or if you have a band and you're recording your latest album. Come check out HOTC at www.hotcstudios.com. Thanks for watching episode 2 of The Musician's Blueprint. This is 2J and LT.
Thank you so very much. And again, appreciate the likes, appreciate the shares. Everybody for local music supporting it should be a share agent, and you'll help so much. Hit that share button, gets to your walls on your social media, and we appreciate it. And we're looking forward to the next episode.